Imagine this. You're sitting right there in the exam room. You hear the audio perfectly, you catch the exact right answer, and you write it down. But wait, you accidentally swapped an S for a C, or, maybe you just forgot to double an M. So could that simple spelling mistake completely ruin your IELTS band score? Well, the painful answer is absolutely yes. Hearing the right answer is really only half the battle. Your spelling counts just as much, and one wrong letter literally means 0 points.
Hello, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're a really focused learner who's looking to capture every single point possible, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to run through a simulated mock test overview, and we're focusing entirely on the note-taking strategies and specific spelling rules that are going to protect your score.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit pre-audio keyword prediction, move into note-taking and mind mapping, tackle fast audio and signposts, review some vital suffix spelling rules, sort out tricky words and dialects, and finally wrap up with a computer-based test checklist.
Let's start right off with Section 1, Pre-Audio Keyword Prediction. Because honestly, the time before the audio even starts is your most powerful advantage.
You're given this really short window of time, usually around 30 seconds, to read the questions before the recording actually begins. Now, this reading window is crucial. Your strategy here is a quick 3-step sequence. First, read the questions carefully to get the context. Second, underline your key words. We're talking names, dates, numbers, specific locations. And finally, predict the answer type. Are you listening for a noun? Maybe a percentage, an adjective? Knowing exactly what fits grammatically means you're just not going to be caught off guard.
Let's try a quick pre-audio practice exercise together. Look at this prompt right from an actual test. I'm ringing to make inquiries about sending a large box back home to Kenya from the blank. So, what are we looking for here? Take a guess? Well, because of the word the, we know for sure it's a noun. And the context tells us we are specifically listening for a location noun, like a college or maybe a depot.
Moving right along to Section 2, note-taking and mind mapping. Now, once that live audio begins, your strategy has to shift immediately.
And this brilliantly illustrates why trying to write down every single word in full sentences is a massive trap. It'll just make you panic and fall behind instantly. Instead, you've got to look at the column method. When you have two speakers, let's say Jack and Dr. Ray are discussing a course, create 2 columns. Put Jack's opinions on one side, Dr. Ray's on the other. It's the absolute ultimate way to track who said what without your paper turning into a chaotic scribbled mess.
Now, another totally game-changing technique is mind mapping. Instead of writing linear lists, try placing the main idea right in the center of your page and drawing branches for key points and then sub-branches for examples. This really helps you structure visual ideas super quickly without getting lost in the rapid pace of the recording. So when the speaker moves from talking about facilities and branches off into computers and meeting rooms, your notes just naturally follow that spatial relationship.
All right, let's look at Section 3, Fast Audio and Signposts. IELTS recordings are notoriously fast-paced, so you really need the tools to navigate them.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these tiny shortcuts save you precious seconds and actually prevent spelling errors. Let's run a quick symbol drill. When you hear kilometers, just write km. Kilograms becomes kg. Percent is just the percent symbol. Trust me, writing $49.99 using the dollar sign is so much safer than trying to frantically spell out $49.99 in the heat of the moment.
Let's do a hands-on activity with these signpost words. These are key for following the speaker's sequence. If you hear someone say, "I'm going to begin by," what does that tell you? Right, it means they're introducing a topic. If they say, "In addition," get ready for a brand new point. But what if they say, "however," or maybe "actually"? That is a classic IELTS trap. They are about to correct themselves, which means the answer you just wrote down probably needs to change.
Okay, that brings us to Section 4, Suffix Spelling Rules. Because when you transfer your answers at the end, your spelling has to be absolutely flawless. Let's turn this into a rapid-fire self-assessment, okay? Now, these are primary school rules, but under pressure, candidates completely forget them. First, drop the E when adding ing, like moving from love to loving. Second, the floss rule. One-syllable words ending in F, L, or S usually double that letter. Think fluff or loss. Third, if all is a prefix, drop an L. So always, not always. And finally, if full is a suffix, drop an L there too. Beautiful has only one L at the very end. Seriously, missing these simple rules will definitely cost you points.
Next up is Section 5, Tricky Words and Dialects. This is a massive point of confusion for a lot of test takers. Which version of English are you actually allowed to use?
So, quick quiz for you. Should you spell color with or without a U? The answer is, it literally doesn't matter. You can use either British or American spelling. Both are perfectly acceptable. However, the golden rule here is consistency. Do not mix them up in the same test. You got to pick one standard and stick to it strictly the whole way through. You also absolutely need to memorize what I call the tricky words cheat sheet. Examiners love these because they're basically spelling traps. Take library, you've got to make sure you get that first R in there. Environment has a hidden N that people always miss. And accommodation is super greedy. It needs 2 C's and 2 M's. Memorize these right now so they don't catch you out later. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 6, our computer-based checklist, because taking the test on a screen definitely comes with its own unique set of challenges. Let's move to and see how this builds into our checklist for the digital test. Fast typing can easily lead to typos, and if you accidentally type TEH instead of THE, guess what? It is marked as a spelling mistake. That's 0 points. And no, there is absolutely no spell check feature to save you. You also have to strictly obey those word limits. And finally, because there's no negative marking, never ever leave a box blank. Just take your best guess.
The tools to secure a perfect listening score are entirely in your hands, but they do require active practice. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question. Are you ready to disable your spell checker today and really start mastering your manual accuracy? Try it out on your next practice test. Focus on those notes, double-check your suffixes, and just watch your band score climb. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy studying!